So I've written an article that actually, if we based the right to have access to origin information around the right to autonomy as opposed to identity, that might be quite fitting, because some people might not see the information as very important for their identity. They might want to talk to their donors for different reasons. Like I said, to know about their motivations, to thank them, to find out what their lives are like. And so kind of when we say it definitely is important for people's identity, maybe it's better to frame it in terms of autonomy. And then when we talk about children, we could frame it in terms of their evolving capacities. So as they're growing up through childhood, the information might be less important when they're younger, it might become more important when they're older, or vice versa, and that we should listen to children and be in an open dialogue with them about exercising their developing autonomy, so that we allow access to information in line with their evolving capacities with the support of parents. So I think there are challenges in the implementation of children's rights to access origin information for different reasons. So to give examples from the UK, in the 90s, when there were discussions around the regulation of gamete donation, there was originally anonymity in the UK. It was thought that secrecy was best for children. And when you read kind of policy reports or debates around that time, there weren't many DC people or donor-conceived people around to talk about their experiences. This was the first time it was being regulated in an act. And I think that donor-conceived people became kind of frozen as children in the debate, and then it became this kind of children versus adult paradigm in the policies and in the reports. And I think in that situation, kind of parents' autonomy was emphasized, and children's autonomy, their developing autonomy, and the autonomy of the adults they would became sidelined for that reason. So actually talking solely about the children that would be born in that context actually led to this situation that we had, where they forgot to think about the child becoming older, becoming a teenager, becoming an adult, and maybe wanting to have access to this information. So I think that that's why there was this emphasis on secrecy, because almost the person was frozen as a child in the mind of the people who were making the legislation. And then also there's just challenges in thinking of children as autonomous agents a lot of the time. And so that's just a kind of a problem across the board that we have in different areas, like in medical decision making, for example, but also in this context. And then in the area of surrogacy, there are challenges in implementation, because I just think in the UK it wasn't really thought about when surrogacy was regulated. So when it was first regulated, there was concerns around commercial surrogacy, and then the next kind of set of regulations was around parenthood. But at no point did people kind of think about what about origin information in surrogacy. And I think that's because in the UK there often is contact between the surrogate and her family and then the family who have the child through surrogacy. However, now there are more challenges because we have inter-country surrogacy and international surrogacy. So whilst in the UK, there's often contact between the families, in the case of international surrogacy, there may be anonymous surrogates and/or anonymous gamete donation. And so there's now a situation where we have a challenge in access to origin information in that context. So I think these are some of the challenges in accessing origin information for children.